Hey everybody, Patricia here, and today I'm going to be doing one of these what does certain subject means to me videos. And while I was doing the 30th anniversary of Pee-wee's Big Adventure article on the Old School Lane blog, it got me thinking about my quote-unquote humble roots on the internet. And one of the first that come to my mind was Willvolution. If you don't know what Willvolution is, it is a video game tournament group that meet up in South Florida, and they compete in numerous games competitively. Everything from Street Fighter Third Strike, Guilty Gear, Mortal Kombat, a whole bunch of games. And there was one in particular that I got into, but right before I discuss about that, I want to talk about how I first found out about Willvolution and what Willvolution means to me. I was able to find out about Willvolution around 2006 when I was still in college. I worked as a lab assistant at the at my school's computer lab, and my job was to help students with learning about the basic and advanced techniques of Microsoft Office, more specifically Excel, Access, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Word. And while I was there, there was a student who was there who was about a few years ahead of me, and he was a really cool guy. We talked for a little bit, and he went his way and I went mine. And I saw him again the next day while I was taking my lunch break, and I was hanging out at the recreational center. At the recreational center, he was with a group of guys, and they were huddling together and playing this fighting game that I'd never seen before. And the fighting game turned out to be a Japanese-only fighting game on the Nintendo GameCube called Naruto Gekkyo Ninja Taisen 3, which is Clash of Ninja 3. The Clash of Ninja 3 that came out in America is a little bit different than Japan, but that's schematics. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I saw him and I saw the game and I was like, I've never seen this before, because at the time I didn't know anything about Naruto. Naruto didn't come out on Toonami until at least maybe, was it a few months later or a year later? I'm not sure. But yeah, I saw the game and it captivated me because I had never seen a Japanese exclusive game before. Usually when I pick up a game at Blockbuster or GameStop, they're all Americanized, and I'm sure at one point every single person knows that one guy who happens to have a Japanese-only game and they have the console for it. Well, what they did is that they had a copy of the Japanese game and they had this little disc that they would pop into the GameCube, run it for a few seconds, and then they would pop in the GameCube game that was Japanese exclusive, and that would allow them to play the game easily. And I played the game and I was really captivated by it. It was a lot of fun, and I got my ass kicked a lot. But I was intrigued by it. I wanted to learn more. And they were like, we're just beginners like you are, but if you want to be really good at the game, then you should check out this, group called Willvolution. They meet up once a month at this little place, this little gaming shop, and you should check them out. And I'm like, yeah, I will. And I checked out the card, and apparently they also had this website, and they had a forum group. And I signed into the forum group around my birthday. When I signed up in the forums, they were really nice. They said, hey, welcome to Willvolution, happy birthday. And I felt really welcome. This was one of the first times in which I was involved in an online community. Previously, I did sign up in like one or two forums, but they were mostly for my high school friends, and they didn't last very long. They only lasted like maybe a month or two, and then just kind of died out. So interacting with all these people that I never knew before on the internet was just this interesting experience to me. And I was able to make a lot of friends over there. I made, obviously, Will, who is the founder of Willvolution. And there was a lot of the people who lived in Florida, such as there was a guy named Stabby, who was this really awesome Haku player. There was Mr. Brightside, who was really good at playing as Sakon/Yukon, one of the members from the Sound 5. There was Reishu, who was one of the very few female players in Willvolution, and she was awesome. She loved Orochimaru. She was a huge Orochimaru fan. And yeah, there was Project 84. He was a pretty cool guy. Didn't really see him too much because he lived in, it was either Orlando or Miami. Then there was Dark Honor 90, who lived in Miami. Really nice guy. We talk sometimes. And then there was also the people who were not from Florida, who were from all over the country. Like there was a guy, there was a group of Naruto players from California who were really awesome, and there was a group of gamers. There were these two brothers from Chicago named Dark Sasuke and Dark Kakashi. They were pretty skilled players. They were pretty awesome. And yeah, there was just a ton of people there. So nice, so informative, so smart, and we just had so much fun talking about things together. We talked about the latest episode of Naruto, the manga. We talked about a whole bunch of other things, like, you know, the upcoming games that were coming out. We talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was at the time, you know, it came out like around its second season, so that was like a huge thing for us. And then eventually I signed up and I played my first round in the game tournament. And, well... I sucked, yeah. But as time went on, I continued to improve and learn more and more about the tricks. I learned about blocking, I learned about defense, I learned about canceling moves, I learned about pulling off fun techniques. It was a long process.
One finger. One point. What's wrong? That's it?
But at the same time, I still lost. In fact, I think I may have the biggest losing streak in Willvolution. Like, I would say I lost about maybe, I don't know, like 100 times. I only won twice. And the two people that I did win against, they were just one-off players who never came back to the group again. And it kind of made me a little embarrassed because I would think that I would become a lot better, but I guess not. I guess maybe I wasn't as dedicated as the other players. I mean, at the time, I was still going to school and I was still working, so I didn't have a lot of time to play and get my skills better. And the only person who I practiced with was with me. And very rarely we would have casual games, so over at the gaming shop. And then as time went on, the gaming shop shut down, and then we had to move over to another gaming place. And that was a little bit further away from where I lived at the time, so I couldn't go there as frequent. But one of the best memories that I can recall from being in part of the group was the major competition, Willvolution, the main competition. One of them, I've been to two of them. I've been to Willvolution 2007 and Willvolution 2008. And man, it was held up at the hotel at West Palm Beach. We had this gigantic room filled with so many television. There was a giant screen where you can see the players play their games. And it's funny because I was the one who brought snacks to the group. And one of the players, one of the few female players who lived in California, she was known as Sorry Baby. She was making, we were joking about that when I was bringing in some cookies that I baked. Because of the temperature from, you know, the oven, and then I had to bring it into the car, and they kind of like shriveled up and became square instead of circle, and she kind of made fun of it. Was like, oh wow, there's square cookies, and that was a joke that kind of went throughout the entire place. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of the games, you know, there was Super Smash Brothers Brawl, there was the usual fighting games, and Naruto Gekyo Ninja Taisen 4 was like the big one. At least about over 50 players signed up for it, including myself. I never made it past the first round, but hey, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. And Willvolution 2008 was just as fun. It was the first time we played Naruto Gekyo Ninja Taisen EX for the Wii. You know, the game that pretty much everybody hated because, let's just say that that game had a lot of issues. Like, the controls were floaty, the techniques were nerfed. It was just a disaster, and people pretty much kind of like petered out of it. And this was also around the same time in which the filler arc started, and that didn't make things any better. Yeah, it was kind of a hard time to be a Naruto fan. But as time went on, after 2008, when I finally graduated from college, I decided, you know what, I want to try holding my own tournaments and seeing that maybe I can be able to bring out the gaming community over at my college. I was still there, I was still working there, but I was no longer taking classes. So on my spare time when I wasn't working, I would hold video game tournaments at the recreational center, the same place where I got started. And yeah, there were a couple of people there who were very interested in participating. There was one time in which I held this huge tournament that lasted for 2 days. There was Soul Calibur 4, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I think there was a little bit of Call of Duty in there, or Halo. I don't remember what the rest of the games were, but yeah, those were a ton of fun. I remember in the first day that I was so exhausted that when I woke up from the morning, I actually drooled down the side of my mouth. That is only one of 2 times in which I actually did that, because I was just so borderline tired. And then the second day, it ran really smoothly, and there was like this really tight competition between the students, and I gave out prizes. I gave out like these cheap dollar ribbons, and I went to a trophy store and I bought some trophies for the grand prize winner, and I gave a few bucks. But yeah, the experience that I was able to learn about holding tournaments, that was pretty beneficial for me, because I was able to learn how to organize and keep things intact. That way I can be able to take it in for other things. And, I was able to make some more friends because of that. And then around 2009, a lot of the people that I knew from Willvolution, they left. And it just kind of felt not the same to me. And, I became more and more busy with my life, and I no longer had the time to, go over to the community and post on the forums, or I could no longer go over to the gaming store and play a round or two. Unfortunately, that second gaming store we went to that we did the tournaments, that also shut down, so we had to meet up at the mall and their gaming store. So it was a little bit complicated to know about, which day to go there and what time and stuff. It just became a mess. And, as time went on, I just stopped going altogether, and I haven't been back since. But I still have fond memories for Willvolution. They're still going strong. Maybe not as to the extent as it was a few years ago, but I still have a lot of respect for Will, and I'm glad that he's still doing very well. I actually saw him 2 years ago at Florida SuperCon, where he was throwing some tournaments, and there were a couple of people that came by, including some of the old members, which was fantastic seeing them. So yeah, Willvolution means a lot to me. They were kind of like my step in towards learning about being a part of an online community and becoming friends with people on the internet that I could have never met in real life. They helped me open up a little bit in a time in which I was kind of still shy and awkward towards people. And they taught me about competitive gaming, and they taught me about running tournaments and organizing, about, who goes first and what round and stuff like that, which I was able to learn and take in for other things to help organize with. So, wherever Willvolution is at, I'm still willing to support them, and I hope that things continue to go well for them. If you're interested in checking Willvolution out, I have links in the description below. You can check out at willvolution.com. They have Twitter, Facebook, they have a YouTube channel where you can check out my old fights. Don't check out my old fights. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it, and I hope to catch you next time, so see ya.